Hello everyone, this is Amit Latigra. In this video, I'm going to discuss a Python program to print a pattern where user is going to enter number of rows. For example, user is entering 5 as number of row. So what I want to print as an output pattern like this, A, B, C, D, E. I want to print alphabets like this. The same alphabets in reverse order. So this is my row number 1. In next line, I want to print A, B, C, D and same alphabet in reverse order. In third row, I want to print A, B, C and same alphabets in reverse order. Fourth row, A, B, same alphabets in reverse order. And in fifth row, A. So I want to have output like this. So let's analyze how it's going to work. So let's consider matrix. Let's consider it in form of matrix. And if user is entering number of rows as 5, so I'm going to print first row like this. E, D, C, B, A. This is my row number 1. Similar way, we need row number 2, row number 3, row number 4, and row number 5. So let's put it in form of matrix to understand how it's going to work. So these all are basically columns. Make sure here input is 5, which is total number of rows which user wants to produce for this particular pattern. And let's consider a different row. This is second row. This is third row. This is fourth row and fifth row. So in next row, it is A, then in next row, it is A, then B, C, D, and same in reverse order. Then A, B, C, and same in reverse order. Then A and B, B and A, and at end A. This is column numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So it's a kind of replica of a pattern. If you can check here, if you consider a mirror, then whatever the pattern we are having on left side, on right side, we are having a replica. This pattern is distributed in 3 different parts. Let's analyze it a little bit. Part number 1 is printing left side alphabets. This is part number 1, means printing left side alphabets. This is what my part number 1. Part number 2 is putting the blank spaces. So part 2 is putting blank spaces. Part 3 is nothing but putting right side alphabets. So this is 3 major breakup of this pattern. Putting left side alphabets, consider it as a one pattern. It's very simple. Next is putting the blank spaces and forward by putting the right side alphabet. So whenever we are printing a particular row, let's consider row number 3. We need to print alphabets on left side. So this is possible using one loop. Then we need to take care of blank spaces. Part 2 of my pattern. It is again possible using one loop and then putting right side alphabets. So this is my third loop. So in one row, we need 3 different loops for printing the respective columns. Nested loop, row, then 3 individual loops within the row to print left side alphabets, blank spaces, right side alphabets. Next, how many alphabets we need in one line? So if we are at row number 1, we need 5 alphabets on left side, 0 blank space, 5 alphabets on right side. If we are at row number 2, 4 alphabets on left side, 2 blank spaces, 4 alphabets on right side. If we are at row number 3, 3 alphabets on left side, 4 blank spaces, 3 alphabets on right side. So total number of rows in this example, let's consider NR as total number of rows, which is 5. Let's consider this row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's consider say row 1. So starting with 1, this is my row till we reach to the number of rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need 5 alphabets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 alphabets on both sides. Consider row number 3. So if my row is say 3, starting with 3, we need alphabets up to 5, meaning 3, 4, and 5, meaning we need 3 alphabets. A, B, C, 3, 4, 5, total count is 3. So this is a simple logic. Every time we need to print alphabets from A, this is what we need to take care. Wherever we are ending, for example, C, we need to start printing alphabets from the same alphabet, and we need to go in a reverse order on right side. So this is another point needs to consider whenever we are discussing the logic of this program. How many blank spaces, alphabets we are clear, starting with the row number till we reach to the end of rows. Whatever the counts we are having, this many number of times we need to print alphabets. Now blank spaces. So here we need 0 blank space, then 2, then 4, then 6, then 8. So what is the correlation here? If we are at row number 4, and if we multiply it row number with 2, so what we'll get? 4 into 2, that is 8, minus 2, so 6. So how many blank spaces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is the logic. If we are at row number 3, if you multiply it with 2, why we are multiplying with 2? Because we are producing replica on right side. That's why multiplying with 2. So 3 into 2, that is 6. If we subtract 2, meaning 4. So here we need 4 blank spaces. If you are at row number 2, 2 into 2, that is 4 minus 2. So 2. So 2 blank spaces. If we are at row number 1, 1 into 2, that is 2 minus 2, 0. So 0 blank space. If you are at row number 5, 5 into 2, 10, minus 2, 8. So 8 blank spaces. As simple as this. So this is the logic. Let's create its Python program based on this logic. We need to ask user total number of rows. My loop for row in range starting with 1, considering the last row plus 1. Now within the row, what we need is we need to print columns. So let's say for col in range. How we need to print column, that already I discussed here. Starting with the row number. How many times we need to iterate? If we are at row number 4, then we need 2 alphabets starting with the row number, that is 4, up to total number of rows, that is NR, which is inclusive. This many number of times we need to iterate. So starting with my row number up to total number of rows, which is inclusive, so plus 1. So this many number of times I want to iterate. What I need to print? I need to print alphabets each time in each row. It is starting with A. So let's consider ASCII value of capital A is 65. And here what we need to print, its character representation, that is capital A if ASCII value is 65. So this I want to print. At end, nothing. No need to move to the new line. After printing, I want to print next alphabet, that is B. So I need to increase value of character by 1. So this is what first part of my pattern. Let's consider it and print. Still, we need to write remaining lines of program. But let's consider the output till this point of time, how it looks. So let me execute by specifying number of rows as 5. So what here we are getting A, B, C, D, E we require, but here we are getting A, then again A, meaning somewhere wherever we are uh, adding 1 to the character, here still it is 65. So I need to consider CH. I was explaining that 65 character representation of 65 is capital A. So let's consider it as CH now. That is a variable, and let's execute program. So ABCDE, ABCD, ABC, AB, and A. So the left part of the pattern without any blank spaces is ready, because right side we don't have any blank spaces. If we consider this pattern, it's till end of our line. So now I want to put blank spaces and then in reverse order. The same thing in reverse order. So how can we put the same in reverse order? Let's first consider that logic. What I need to do, I need to iterate in the same loop again, because now we want to print it in reverse order. So basically we need to subtract 1 each time. But at last already I added +1. So before printing, what we need to do, we need to subtract 1 to get the actual character. What I was mentioning is A, B, C, D, E. After E already we did +1, so it is F. So consider E again. First we subtract the value. So from F it is E, and then we are printing it on screen. So this is what the second part of program. Let's consider its output, number of rows 5. So A, B, C, D, E, this is first part, and E, D, C, B, A, the reverse one, it is a second part. Now what we need to do, we need to put blank spaces in between. So how to put the blank spaces? That logic is already cleared at which row we are. We need to multiply it with 2, because we are working with both sides of print, and then we need to subtract 2. So this is what the logic which I explained already. And let's have our loop for putting the blank spaces. How many blank spaces? Starting with 1. At which row we are, we need to multiply it with 2. And we need to subtract 2, which is inclusive, so +1. So ultimately it is -1. If we consider minus and plus. So this is what my logic. Let me repeat it again. Row into 2 minus 1, row into 2 minus 1. Why it is -1? Because this is what our logic. We need to consider last digit as well, because we are starting with 1. We are not starting with 0. So +1. So -2 plus 1. So ultimately it is -1. So it's a simplified version. And here what we need to print? We need to print blank space. So this is the second part, left part, then blank spaces, and then right part. Let's check output now. Let's clear the screen. Let's execute it again. Number of rows 5, and this is what our output, same as our expectation. If you are considering number of rows, say 10, then this is what the pattern. Left side, then blank spaces, and then right side. And this is what its Python program. This is what its logic, what I explained. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good time ahead.